Rivers Alliance of Connecticut, the united voice of Connecticut's rivers. Rivers Alliance protects all the state's waters, from Mountain Springs to Long Island Sound.
Today, it's a beautiful day to be by the river. We're on the Chippewa River. Just here to talk about Rivers Alliance and what we're doing, where we've been, and where we're going. The mission of Rivers Alliance is to protect all waters of Connecticut. Rivers, streams, groundwater, it's all connected, it's all related.
In the not-so-distant past, American rivers were horribly polluted. The main threats were industrial waste and sewage.
People who are my age remember when rivers were too polluted to swim in. Talking to my dad about his childhood, when he really literally couldn't put his big toe in a waterway, and he grew up not very far away.
Americans demanded reform. In response, Congress passed the Clean Water Act in 1972. Government officials and river groups went to work. Connecticut's rivers became cleaner, wildlife reappeared, and people went out on the water again. But around 1990, even though the state waters were cleaner, new problems emerged. We began to notice rivers with low water or entirely dried up, like this. Here's the typical pattern.
During the summer, if there are not enough rains, the riverbed can dry up to the point where you can walk across the river without getting your feet wet. It basically becomes an isolated series of pools, and all aquatic life is basically driven to those pools. Trout, turtles, frogs, etc. suffer as temperature rises.
Climate change was changing rivers. River flows were lower and warmer. Oxygen levels were lower. Native aquatic species were suffering or disappearing. Algae, pond scum, and bacteria flourished. River groups were dealing with more than they could handle. At this time, Rivers Alliance was founded.
About 25 years ago, we brought together people who just love rivers for a variety of different reasons, and we pounded out an agreement where we would formally join together, raise some money, hire a person, and bring our unified voice to Hartford every day, so nothing could fall through the cracks, and we would, we hope, have power that we didn't have individually. And that's what happened.
With a program of education, advocacy, and help to local groups and individuals, the new alliance, working with partners and the public, developed a strong record of accomplishments, including State Watershed Network, aquifer protections, grants to watershed groups, ban on MTBE in gasoline, stream flow protection for reservoir rivers, Water Trails website, State Water Plan.
Rivers Alliance is the only statewide organization that works solely on water issues here at the state capitol. We work on policy issues to protect stream flows, to protect water quality, to protect water quantity. All of these things are very important. And it's the job of Rivers Alliance to make people aware of our rich resource here in Connecticut. There is still a situation here in Connecticut where it is legal to dry up a stream.
Excessive, destructive groundwater pumping is common and legal.
The section of the stream that was dewatered was a trout management area, and an angler who was walking across the bridge during his lunch hour looked down and there was no water in the stream.
Dams are a problem statewide. Many serve useful purposes. Connecticut has wonderful drinking water reservoirs, but many do more harm than good.
Dams historically have been very important. but over 4,000 dams in Connecticut that are unnecessary. They no longer serve a purpose.
Rivers Alliance supports taking down dams whenever possible. Even repairs can damage a river for years, as was the case here on the Bantam. The river was totally dewatered upstream, and black sludge flushed downstream.
The biggest way, of course, that dams affect rivers is through just complete blockage of fish passage or any creatures moving up and down the river corridor.
How will we tackle the problems that afflict our great rivers? At Rivers Alliance, we work with many other environmental groups. But policy work goes nowhere without the support of the people. Truly, it is the people of Connecticut who lead in water protection. Continued water rights and usage conflicts led to the development of the State Water Plan. In 2016, the semi-secret approval of a huge water bottling plant in Bloomfield using public water led to the creation of a citizens group that made headlines and changed the state plan. Since 2016, in Bloomfield, the Niagara Bottling Company has had access to 1.8 million gallons a day of Connecticut's waters. At the heart of this battle against the bottling and export of state water was the principle: water is a public trust resource, and the public must be able to participate in water decisions. In Connecticut, our waters are held in trust for all residents. This is a major fight of our times, to defend our precious resource for all of us.
Public trust principle is an old principle in common law. It goes back to the Bible. All of a sudden, as the value of water rises, people don't want to hear about it anymore. The public trust is the foundation of water planning and management in Connecticut.
Rivers, by their just gentle beauty, they're always moving, they're always singing. The sound that they make is always soothing. That river can't fight for itself. It gives so much when you think about all that beauty, when you think about all that spiritual replenishment that river's giving you. And you've got to fight for them. You've got to fight for them. And that's what we do at Rivers Alliance.
And we're ready to keep working to fix the problems that we're seeing in Connecticut.